Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, love the one whom you love moderately. Perhaps someday he will be one whom you hate. And hate the one whom you hate moderately. Perhaps someday he will be one whom you love. This hadith follows what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. Allah said, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. Thus we have made you a middle nation, a moderate nation, that you may be witnesses against mankind, and that the messenger may be a witness against you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering us to be moderate people. And the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he's emphasizing moderation in our feelings. Not only moderation in our action, but moderation in our feelings, because feelings, when they go to extremes, they lead to sin and to haram and to disobedience of Allah. So Allah and the Prophet ﷺ are telling us, be moderate. Be moderate in your feelings with people. Moderate in loving, moderate in hating. Both of them. Don't go to extremes. And this applied, the hadith didn't specify a particular person. It's general. So it applies to everybody. Your spouses, your children, your friends, your co-worker, everybody. Be moderate. Don't go to extreme in your love or your hate. Neither one. When you get to extremes, it blurs your vision. You can't see clearly. When you get to extreme hate or extreme love, you can't see things the proper way. Things are distorted. Because whatever the person does, you don't see the bad in it. Or whatever the person does, you don't see the good in it. Your vision is blurred. But if you're moderate, you see what's right and you see what's wrong. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, do not let your love be obsession, and do not let your hatred be destruction. So the person that was sitting with him, he said, what do you mean? Explain. So he said, when you love someone, you become obsessed like a child. You look at the child, when they love a toy, nothing in the world is so important as the toy. Day and night telling you about the toy. I want to buy that toy. I want to get that toy. You get them that toy, they are so obsessed with it. They sleep with it. They eat with it. They go to the shower with it. Everywhere they want to take that toy. Crazy. Same thing when you're obsessed with your love. When you go to extreme with your love, you're like the child. You don't see anything else. Maybe the child, there is better toys, things that are more exciting, but he doesn't see them. The person who go to the extreme in their love are the same situation. And then he continued to say, when you hate someone, you love to destroy the one you hate. And that's the extreme. You get to a point you hate somebody, you can't stand the person. You want him to disappear from the earth. You don't want to see him. Whatever harm you can do to the person, you will do it. When you go to the extreme. But if you're moderate, when you love the person, there is room, and you can see what's good and what's bad in them. When you hate the person, and you are not extreme, there is room. You can see what's good and what's bad. A man asked the great Imam Al-Hasan Al-Basri, and he asked him, to whom should I marry my daughter? So the Imam said, to the one who fears Allah. If he loves her, he will honor her. And if he dislikes her, he will not be unjust to her. The one who fears Allah is moderate. So if he loves her, he's going to treat her like a queen. He's going to be good to her. But at the same time, if he doesn't love her, he's not going to mistreat her. He's not going to abuse her. And that's the Muslim. He's moderate. He doesn't go to any of the extreme. He's balanced. Then he's going to do what Allah's ordering. He's not going to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will obey Him and not do the wrong. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, the verse that I said many times, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And it may be that you hate a thing which is good for you, and that you like a thing which is bad for you. And Allah knows, but you do not know. When you have extremes, you have a problem. You love the thing so much that if Allah doesn't give it to you or take it away from you, then you fall apart. You can't take it. You can't take that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give you what you wanted so bad, or took away from you what you loved so much. And the same thing, if you hate something, you can't take it. And it may be that thing that you hate is good for you, but you can't take it. And the Prophet ﷺ is applying those things to our life. He's saying, a believing man must not hate a believing woman. If he dislikes one of her characters, he will be pleased with another. Again, he's saying, be moderate. When you have a woman, you're married to a woman, don't always say, oh, she doesn't cook good, I hate her. There is so many other characters that she has that are wonderful. She is a good listener, she treats you well, she takes care of the children, all the good things that she does. But don't focus on the one bad things and say, I dislike her, I can't stand her. Be moderate. Don't go to the extreme, because you do that, it's wrong. And by the same token, if you don't like something in her, look at yourself in the mirror. You're not perfect either. You have a lot of weaknesses, and she's accepting you the way you are. The key thing when you look at people, the Prophet ﷺ is telling us, look at the whole package. Look at the good and the bad. And which one is more? If the bad is more, then that person is not good. If the good is more, then that person is good. Don't pick on one thing. Be moderate when you look at it. Don't choose one thing and that you paint the person with that particular thing. And at times, our love makes us so blind, we can't see the people for who they are really, for who they really are. We can't see them. A lot of time I see people who are so fond of a person, in love of that person, whether it's a man or a woman. They can't see any of their faults. Anything they do wrong, they can't see it. The whole world see the mistake that the person does, except the person who's in love. They cannot see it. And in that case, really, the person who is so in love is hurting the other person. Because when you are not seeing their mistake, you cannot help them to get better. You cannot tell them their weaknesses. You cannot tell them how to be a better person. Because all they are doing, anything that they are doing to you, it's perfect. It's wonderful, whatever they do. And that's not really the person who cares about another person. The person who cares about another person would like to see them to be the best person, to help them improve, to help them get better. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدو لكم فاحذروهم. Allah says, O you who believe, surely from among your spouses and your children there is an enemy to you, therefore beware of them. Is Allah telling us that our spouses are gonna shoot us, so be careful, or that they are gonna do something to harm us? No. What Allah is saying, if you are not moderate in your feelings with your spouses and children, what's going to happen? Your extremism that you have is going to lead you to do haram. And it's going to be, like, for sake of discussion, it may not be that your spouse tells you, go steal. But she can tell you gradually, I like this dress, you don't have money. I like to buy, go on vacation, you don't have money. Look at my friends, her husband bought her this and this and that. Step by step, without knowing, you're going to start to fall in the trap and start to steal or cheat. And then when you do that, that will lead you to hellfire. And then that person is really your enemy. Anybody who leads you to hellfire is your enemy. Whether that person is your spouse, your child, whatever it is, anybody who leads you to hellfire, to disobeying Allah and go to hellfire, is not your friend, is your enemy. So that's why Allah is saying, beware of them. That don't let anybody leads you to do the haram and to go to hellfire. So you have to be moderate and balanced so you can see what's right and what's wrong. I'll tell you the story of a couple, a husband and wife. They are not Muslim and they live in the Bay Area. They got married in love, tremendous love. And then they started a company. When they started the company, the husband who ran the company got a whole lot of stock. She was helping him. She got a good amount of stock too. Company went public. The husband became extremely rich. The wife became rich from the stock she has. But all of a sudden, the husband now, women saw him, he's multi-million-dollar cuter, multi-million-dollar more beautiful. And he started to believe that, so he wanted to have a divorce. He doesn't want to stay with that old woman that, we've been married for tens of years. I want a divorce. The wife was in love with him blindly. She couldn't see anything. So she asked him, let's go to a counselor, marriage counselor. And they agreed. He agreed on one condition. You give me the stock that you have. She was so much in love with him, she said, fine. Signed the document, went to the marriage counselor, and after many sessions, and finished, he divorced her. And she had to take a menial job to survive. Blind love. She couldn't see. She couldn't see anything. She couldn't see that if anybody, the only way to stay with you is for money, he's not worth it. But she couldn't see that. She couldn't see. Blind love make you see not the right and the wrong. And it will hurt you in this life and the hereafter. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the most evil among the people in the eye of Allah on the day of judgment is the man who confide in his wife and she confides in him and then he tells her secret. He's talking about man and husband and wife. They tell each other their secrets, but then all of a sudden divorce happened. And all of a sudden that person knows the secret and start to go out and tell all the secret that his wife said to him. He is the most evil person in the eyes of Allah on the day of judgment. Because he let his hatred, his disagreement go to the extreme, taking the secret that his wife told him and spreading them and telling everybody. So people look at him that he's a good guy and look at the evil woman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ سَرِّحُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. And when you divorce women and they reach their prescribed time, then retain them in kindness or release them in kindness. But do not take them back to hurt them. And whoever does that, then he has wronged himself. Allah is telling us even in the hardest time, when there is a divorce, that's one of the toughest time for the couples. And it's difficult. And Allah is saying, don't go to extreme, even in the divorce. Be kind. If you're going to keep your wife, be kind to her. If you're going to let her go and the divorce is going to go through, be kind. Don't go to the extreme. And some people go to extreme because of the hate. They refuse to divorce their wife so they can abuse her. Allah is threatening that person. He's saying, don't keep her just to abuse her. If you don't like her, that's fine. Divorce. And everybody go their way. Kindly. Even at the time of divorce, no hate. Kindness. gentleness even at the hard time. So why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us not to go to extreme and be moderate? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذْ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. And of mankind are some who takes others beside Allah as equals to Allah. They love them as they love Allah. Allah is saying, if you go to extreme, what's going to fill your heart is the love of that person or the hate of that person. And if that fills your heart, then you are not going to obey Allah. You're not going to listen to Allah. What's in here is not Allah, is the person that you love or hate to the extreme. And then your action are going to reflect what's in your heart. Your action are going to reflect the extreme love that you have for that person. You're willing to do whatever it takes to please that person. If that person tells you, come on, have a glass of wine with me, come on, I hate to drink by myself. Your extreme love is going to tell you, I'm going to please her. And I'm not going to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to disobey Him. Because your heart is filled with that love. So Allah doesn't want you to do that. Same thing, if your heart is filled of hatred to a person, you start to listen to somebody saying, why don't you shoot him? Why don't you do this? Why don't you tell his boss something so he gets fired? You start to do things that are haram. And you're not listening to Allah because your heart is filled with hatred, not filled with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنْآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا. And let not hatred of others make you avoid justice. That's another thing. When hatred fills your heart, then you start to say, I'm not going to do the justice. He owes you money, okay, go get it, sue me. Go whatever you want. You're going to sue me, I owe you $1,000. If you go to a lawyer, it's going to cost you $5,000. Sue me. Don't let hatred make you be an unjust person. Even if you hate the person, you owe him money, give it to him. Because then you're obeying Allah. And if you disobey Allah, not only you have the anger of the person, but you have the anger of Allah, and you will never be successful in your life. So obey Allah and don't let hatred affect your justice. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever deprives and hire, deprives, take away, and hire of his or her inheritance, share as Allah ordered, Allah will deprive him or her of paradise on the day of judgment. A lot of time, extreme love and extreme hate affect the inheritance. I've seen people, extreme love, they want to give their son a lot of money. They love him so much. Oh, he's my boy. This is the one who's going to take care of me on the cost of the others. And same thing, the daughter got married to another person that you didn't like. I'm going to disinherit her. She's going to receive nothing from me when I die. It happens a lot. With Muslims, it happens a lot. You are going to be deprived of paradise when you do that, because you let your love or hatred affect what Allah ordered us to do. You disobeyed Allah's order to satisfy your love or your hate, and Allah is going to punish you for that on the day of judgment by keeping you away from paradise. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, عسى الله أن يجعل بينكم وبين الذين عاديتم منهم مودة. Perhaps Allah will make friendship between you and those whom you hold as enemies. So Allah is saying, leave room. Don't close the door completely. Don't let the extreme close the door. You never know. Maybe somebody you hate, who's your enemy, Allah will make him kind to you. But if your heart is so filled with hate, there is no room to let him get in. Nothing. The person may have trying to do good to you, may try to be your friend, may felt his mistake and he felt that he did wrong to you, and he's trying to correct the mistake. but your heart is full. There is no room. He can't get in. So don't do that, because Allah is saying, I may turn your enemies to be your friend. So don't close the door. Leave room in your heart. Don't let the extreme fill your heart. You have no room to let any love get in. And Allah is saying, لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم, so that you may not grieve for what has escaped you, nor be overjoyed at what He has given you. This is what happens when you have extremes. When you have extremes in your heart and something is gone. Your money, for some reason, we've seen the last few days, stock market just collapsing. It bounced back today, but your money went down like in 2008. Some people can take it. They cannot. They are so in love with their money, they commit suicide. They can't. So Allah is saying, don't be extreme. So if Allah take away something from you, don't be sad. And if Allah give you so much, don't be overjoyed. Don't be going crazy because I got so much. You never know. What He gave you a lot today may go away tomorrow. See, be moderate. Because you're going to end up with depression. You're going to end up with bills with a psychiatrist. So be moderate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He's trying to tell us, He wants, and the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, they want Muslim to be all the time in control of themselves. All the time. That is one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, do not take intoxicant, don't take alcohol, don't take drugs. Muslim all the time, they have to be in control of themselves. And being extreme in your emotion, you're losing control. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be in control all the time, so we don't disobey Allah and we don't lose our way to paradise, inshaAllah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه إنه غفور رحيم.